Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining us tonight is Sal Segala, but our special guest is Robbie Kennealy. He is the winner of the ARCA West Series race out at All American Speedway in Roseville, California. And Sal's going to get the interview started, but first of all, Robbie, I want to say congratulations to you on your victory.
Thank you.
All right, with that, you once again, congratulations again on the victory at All American Speedway. Gosh, what a race. It seemed like once you got out in front, there was nobody that was really going to catch you. But in typical All American Speedway racing, which we're all used to, you know what? It was a bump and grind for everybody behind you. Like I said, it's a good thing you didn't have to deal with hardly any of that because of the where you ran. So just, I guess, start out by telling us a little bit about the race day. Oh, congratulations on the pole award and getting the
Yes.
max points. And the max points, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was pretty much, I don't know if you can write it up much better than the day we had, started out in practice. I thought we felt pretty good, but it's kind of hard to tell when you're practicing in the daytime because it's really weather sensitive. It seems like the ARCA cars in general. We qualified our practice second. And then, like I said, I felt like I had a pretty good car, though. Our long run speed was some of the best. And then we ended up getting my first pole by a pretty good margin, which was pretty cool already. And then we come into the race, and it's a long 150 laps, and like you said, Roseville is normally a bump and grind. And so we had the first, I think it was 95 laps is what we went the first green. And like you said, we ended up pulling out to a really good lead. I think I had almost half a track at one point. It was just kind of on easy mode there, just making sure I don't burn out my brakes, my tires, and all that, just in case we had a late race yellow or something like that. I was really hoping it went green the whole way because I felt like we could have lapped up to the top five or somewhat close to there just because of how good the car was. We ended up having some yellows, and the restarts made it very hard. Trevor was running me really clean, though. Then it comes all the way down to the end, the last restart, which was the hardest I had to run all race for sure. I think getting such a big lead and all lap cars that we had to go through, I think I ended up burning just a little bit too much tire in that last restart. Trevor, he tried to hit me a few times. He definitely got into me. He was doing everything he could. I think for like 4 or 5 laps straight, I was joking with him after the race that he was sending me into like every corner for 4 or 5 laps. But eventually we ended up getting, I think, 2 or 3 car length lead and ended up pulling away for my first.
So like I said, the day started out, of course, you said the practice, then you guys got the pole, your first pole award, which was huge. This is he's had the pole with Kyle also, and then he also had one last year with Nick Joanides. So getting the pole award, is kind of getting used to Jan's forte as far as that. But like everybody knows, you don't win a race by winning a pole. You don't win a race by winning practice. You win a race by winning the race and finishing first is where you ended up. So this was a long race. There was no halfway break, nothing like that. You know what? To really calm down, you had to hope for a caution or two. Like you said, the first 95 were run caution free, which was good. It was towards the end, when guys started, getting tired probably, tires were going away, and frustration started setting there. Everyone was trying to grab you. So as you're coming down on that last white flag lap, you see Joe Contreras throw out the white flag. What's going through your mind as you're making that last lap for the win? Not only that, but knowing that Trevor at any time can just dive bomb and basically move you out of the way.
There's so many different things, going through my mind at that moment. I think the first thing was no yellow. Make sure we get all the way back there. Then the second thing was Aiden Kaiser, my spotter. He did a really good job all race of keeping me calm. And from like the last 3 or 4 laps, he had kind of said clear by 3. And I knew Trevor's a super clean driver. We both raced each other super clean. I knew he wouldn't do anything, too crazy like that. And so coming around the white flag, Aiden says clear by 3. Just give me, a couple more good corners and you have it home. So it was it obviously wasn't calm because you're not calm in that moment, but it was more calm knowing that I had a few car length lead, knowing that Trevor's a super clean driver and that all we had to do was a couple more corners to finish it out.
So how hard was it to prep for to get back to Noble Track after finishing up with Sonoma, and then you had Tri-Cities, and then of course you had Portland, which was another road course. And then you come back to a little bull ring like All American Speedway.
I don't feel like it's too hard just because I feel way more comfortable at the road. You know, if we were going back to road course, I think it'd be harder just because it's out of my comfort zone. But like Roseville, I haven't raced there at all this year except this race, but I've been there all year, crew chief and my brother and his late model stuff. And Roseville is just a super cool track. I love that track. It's, you know, only a few hours away. So I think if it was going to a road course, it would have been a lot harder. But just knowing Roseville for a few years now, being there all year, even if I'm not racing, it still helps to feel comfortable going to the track.
You know, and actually, you know, when you look at where you're at in the points, you know, you made a big jump, you know, jumped into fourth. You know, in the points, of course, you know, you're the leading rookie candidate for Rookie of the Year this season. But, you know, when you look back at your consistency, you know, you had, you know, this is what your fourth top five, your seventh top 10. And it was those finishes right there, you know, that have kept you up in the hunt, you know, for a possible championship. But not only that, to keep you ahead of, you know, the other three or four drivers that are running the series full time.
Yeah. We had a really good start to the year. We were the only driver to finish top 10 all the way up into Sonoma. And the only two races that I haven't finished top 10 were both road courses with just some bad luck. So our start to the year was really good. We had a so-so race at Tucson that put us behind a little bit. And the road courses really put us behind to where it's going to be hard to have any championship contention. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible, but it's going to be hard to overcome that. But it's nice to get back into fourth in points, you know, keep racking up top fives, the top tens, and just keeping the consistency up. And it's good to know that the next three tracks to end off the year are three tracks that I feel really comfortable with, and they're all tracks that I've raced at multiple times before. So I'm super excited about it.
And then Jan went out and pulled in RJ Smotherman for this race. So now you have a third teammate. You and Kyle, as we already know, you and Kyle are best friends. You know, you guys have raced, you know, together. You know, you guys know each other real well. Originally, the plan was to bring Joey and your brother, which he ran earlier in the season, but then now he brings in RJ Smotherman. What was it like to have two other teammates and have a driver like RJ who's had experience racing in the ARCA series?
It was nice, you know, having another teammate always helps because all of you guys can build off of each other. And it was supposed to be Joey, like you said, but he was just kind of trying to focus on his late model stuff and finish out the year because we had been running there for points. So it was easier that Jan and RJ, they kind of created a deal, you know, just a couple days before. And it's nice because RJ, Kyle, we all kind of came in at the same time into the ARCA series, and we've all raced each other on different teams and different tracks and different years for the past couple of years. So it was really nice to experience that all together.
So what kind of advice did Chris Greeny give you before the race? You know, as you know, after winning the pole, you know, and saying, hey, you know what, you're going to be the one starting out front. You know, now it's go time. You know, let's see what we can do with the car. See if we can bring it in a victory lane. What did you and Chris talk about before the start?
I got advice from a lot of different people, you know, not just Chris, but Chris, you know, he's normally a pretty calm guy, just like me. He's just get out there and do your job. You know, I mean, like we all thought the pole was really good to get already, you know what I mean? But of course we want to go finish the job. So it was just be calm. One of the greatest advices I got was from Brian Kaiser right before I'm in the car and about to go out, which is Kyle's crew chief. And he helps us all, you know, just like we're all one team. He really got me calm. And one of the biggest things I hadn't even been thinking about was just restarts. You know, he was getting me calm on that, you know, my launches, and then not to burn up my tires. If I get out to a lead, just stay calm the whole race. And Aiden did a fantastic job, my spotter, of doing that all race long. It's just keeping me nice, calm, cool, and collected as best as he could all race.
So once you pull into victory lane, it's time to get out of the car. What's going through your mind at that time? You have Tim, who's ecstatic, you know, always he's great, you know, with the post race interviews, you know, and especially the winners. I mean, and then you get your first win, he was just super excited. Not only that, but then Jan, I've never seen Jan move that fast to get down into victory lane as fast as he did. And actually, I think he was one that caught you jumping from the roof.
Yeah. It's still, I think the one thing is when I'm pulling victory lane is I still couldn't believe it, and it's even hard 2 days after the race to really have it set in and believe it. It's something that I've been dreaming of when I was racing quarter midgets, looking at racing at the Little Madera track or Tri Valley track, and watching the ARCA races and stuff, and dreaming about one day that I want to be a winner of the series, and to have it happen in my rookie year, or my rookie full-time year, it's just something that hasn't set in, And I think the other thing is I hadn't been thinking about it all day, but it really hit me in victory lane was that same race 1 year ago before was the exact race that we honored my father, which is a really cool thing to win 1 year later.
Yeah, it was neat to hear Tim honor him the way he did, before he got out of the car. Then like I said, and then to see Jan, be one of the first ones there. What did Jan tell you when he hugged you? I know when he hugged Kyle, he was crying. He probably couldn't get a word out, but I'm sure he was able to get some words into your ear before everybody else came around you and congratulated you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to remember now just because it's all a blur, you know what I mean? But I think the one thing he said right when I was catching him is, you did it, you know what I mean? You did it, and I knew you could do it, which is exactly what he's been telling me all year long. And that's the reason I'm here, is he took a chance on both me and Kyle, and he both believes in us to our full ability. And right now I think it's been a pretty successful year for us both. And, we both have wins. We both have a lot of top fives, top tens. And for this to only be Jan's real second year in the ARC series and my full-time rookie campaign is a really cool thing.
Yeah, me and Jan we talked about that. We always joke about different things. We talked about this. I said, what? I said, win or lose the championship. I said, what? I said, you got 2 wins this year. You got your 2 drivers, your 2 regular drivers in victory lane. You know what? I mean, yeah, the championship would be nice, but you know what? You can always look back and, at what you were able to accomplish, not only with Kyle, but with Robbie, and getting him a victory lane. Because I always thought from the beginning, and I've told you and I've told Jan, I said, Robbie's going to be the one to beat, come the end of the year once he gets used to the car and gets used to the format, just all the different things. Because I know you're still driving your late model, and I know there's like a line, between how each car races, how each car handles.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've actually only driven my late model once this year, and it was in the beginning of the year. Right, is the late model, like for example, my first time running Roseville 2 years ago. I had tested a late model on Friday, and I got into an ARCA car the next day. And for 3 laps straight, my first couple laps, I overshot every corner by like 4 car lengths and almost wrecked, just because that's how different they are. Late model, you're driving 100 times harder, and the ARCA cars are so much more power and so much more heavy. They're a lot different. So I think I've done a decent job at just kind of staying away from the late model. I feel like I personally struggle more in a late model than I do in ARCA car. So I've been really focusing on that and really cherishing the opportunity that Jan has given us.
And then you and your mom, of course, had your moments together, which was really neat to see. I'm sure there was a lot of emotions, running high, and just a lot of thinking, real back in that little short time, that you guys had in victory lane. But, to know, that your dad was looking down upon you, and he's probably proud as hell.
Yeah, for sure. I think the emotions were high, and I think it was more of just a surprise thing. I think a lot of people didn't have me written down as, somebody to go out there and win that race at Roseville, you know what I mean? And I myself at one point may have not even realized it, you know what I mean? But we just really, the crew chiefs, Chris Greeny, Brian Kaiser, they both did a good job in the shop and giving me a really fast race car. And we showed up and we showed that all weekend long. We practiced second. We got my first pole. We led every single lap, and we ended up winning it. And like I said, it still hasn't really set in even to this moment, just because it's something I've dreamed of for so long. But it's a really cool thing to look back.
And with that, Robbie, I know she has some questions. I didn't take none of her questions. I know I didn't, because I could tell by the look on her face that I didn't. She has some good ones. I know she does. She always does.
Well, I will say this. I did jot down a couple of notes here, Robbie. I was going to tell you the same thing. I know your dad has to be extremely proud of you, and I know he was there in spirit. So I think that is just awesome that it happened on the 1 year anniversary. I think that made it extra special.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one thing that's made it extra special, not only for me, but for everybody else on the outside who was just watching the race. It's not something that I even thought about all day long until I was in Victory Lane and realized that same race, I was the one crew chief and my brother making his first start. And it was in memory of my father had just passed away a few days before. So it was really just a full circle moment and something that's really cool story one day later to tell her.
Now, you were saying that it never really dawned on you that you might win. When was it that it first dawned on you that, heck, this might happen? I might get this one.
I think the full thing is, and it might just be, it's only a me thing. People like Jan, Brian Kaiser, all these guys, they believe in me to their full extent,
Sure.
And I think it's, as a driver, it's hard to fully maybe believe in yourself until it happens or you get close to it, right? And not that it hasn't. We've had a really good year, but it just hasn't gotten to that straight up point of like, we should have won or, we were close to. Even with, a third place, but I felt like I still wasn't the fastest car, but we showed up and we hit the setup perfect. And I think after I got the pole by almost a tenth, it was like right then and there, knowing that my long run speed in practice was good, knowing that we had a shot and everybody on the team, it wasn't just one person. Everybody on the team had something to do with it, and they all kept my confidence up and kept me calm and able to win and close it out.
I really admire the teamwork at Jan's Towing and Racing because you guys are very, very tight and very supportive of one another. And I think that's something that you should be proud of. Also, the points. I know that right now we're talking about Trevor Huddleston being at the top, 12 points out from second place. But you're 34 points back. Tyler is just ahead of you. He's 26 points back, so that's what, 8 points difference? And behind you is Eric Johnson Jr., and he's just 3 points back. So you know what they say, when you start winning, it's a lot easier to get the second one.
Yeah. First one's always the hardest one to get. Yeah, the points are close. And, even I say that I don't feel like it's super close to get it all the way back from where I am, but all it takes is just a couple of bad races from Trevor or something, and then everybody else is so close. So anything can happen for sure.
Absolutely. And talk about the competitors. I know Trevor, you and Trevor and Kyle are all really, really close. Tyler Reif and Eric Johnson Jr., is it a real rivalry?
No, not at all. I think most of us in the field are all close. We all race each other hard, but we race each other with respect. Tanner and Eric, they're all people that have driven with me. And Eric actually came in almost at the exact same time of the ARCA series, making our first starts in 23. And then he ended up doing full time in 24, and I did not. But, we're back racing with each other again. We always race each other hard. Tanner's somebody that I've, been in the same racing stuff with all the way since quarter midgets, racing against each other in Vegas and stuff like that. So we all race each other super hard, and we may have some stuff happen on the track, but it's with respect for sure.
It's still tight knit.
Yeah.
It's still pretty tight knit. And that's one thing that I think the ARCA West should be particularly proud of, because I was telling Sal earlier, the other competitions don't have as many competitive drivers. You guys have 5 competitive drivers that are, any one of the 5 could win any week. And so I really like the competition that's happening in the ARCA West this year.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's even more than 5. Someone like Jake Bowman, who hasn't ran the whole year, so his points don't show. But Jake Bowman's super fast in the BMR team. They run up front every week, and we may have some guys who haven't done every race who show up for a couple races like Nascimento, who are super fast. So, I think looking at it, I'm pretty sure there was only like a 10th from first to 8th place in qualifying or something like that. So I think the West may not have the car count they're looking for, but I feel like every single race we show up to, like even the 12 car races that we've had, have been some of the best races that we've had all year long.
Oh, I agree. I think the racing's been fantastic in the ARCA West. Now, there's 3 races left. You've got Madera, the Las Vegas Bull Ring, and Phoenix. And I know you said you felt good about all 3, but which one stands out for you?
It's hard to tell just because I feel pretty good about all of them. I think one of the hardest parts about my full first time year was a lot of these tracks I've never been to before. And that was hard to adapt to. Like Colorado, I had never raced at. Tri-City, I had never raced at. Kern, in the beginning of the year, was my first actual race there. Most of these tracks I've never actually raced at and have been my first time at, so it takes a little bit of time to learn them. But someone like Madera, my first race, I've been racing there since junior late models, 6 years ago. So that's one and it's my hometown. I mean, I'm in Madera, California right now. That's where I live, and Madera is only a few minutes away. So I think that's the one that I have circled the most. But, I love Boring is one of my favorite tracks. I made my first start there probably 5 years ago as well, and I've done a few late model races there. I really love that track. I even have done one ARCA race there in 2023. And then Phoenix, I just feel like has been a place that fits my driving style a lot. Like we were the highest finishing West driver there earlier this year, and I've made a couple starts there before. So I'm excited about all of them.
Okay, well, that's good. I think we could probably see some tough competition for these next 3 races as well. So I've really had a lot of fun watching you guys race. I know how tight you guys are. I know when we talk to Kyle, he says the same thing. You guys are all together all the time. Trevor said he meets with you guys at least once a week. And of course, your brother, you're tight with him. So I know it's a real tight-knit group, and that really says a lot, I think, about the organization and how much you guys have accomplished in such a short time. Are you guys going to be back next year?
Everything's up in the air, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that, and I'm pretty sure, and it's not nothing to, fully release and say that it's happening right now, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be back. I'm pretty sure that I'll be back full-time next year with Jan. Kyle, I'm not too sure about his plans, and my brother, I'm not too sure about his plans yet as well, but I'm pretty sure that I will be full-time next year with you.
Okay, so you can go after that championship again next year, and then they won't be the first time at those tracks.
Yep. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Okay.
But knowing next year, they'll change the schedule up. They'll add a few more. They'll take one or two out. They usually do every year. They take one or two out. Yeah,
at least
they put a couple in.
The experience of going to tracks for the first time and have my first real full-time year under my belt, so it won't be
definitely.
Worry.
Yes, and changing up the schedule just makes it that much more interesting. And it's the same for everybody. So, Robbie, I've had so much fun watching you guys race this season. I can't wait for these next 3 races, and I'm going to pass it off to Sal again. But I'll be back for us to do your shout outs.
So race is over. It's time for the hardware. Let's take a look at your trophy, because I see it behind you and you keep covering it up. Go ahead and explain how special these trophies are for not only for the ARCA West Series, but also for the Cars Tour.
Is it real heavy, Robbie? Store. Can you bring it closer?
No, it's super light. It's all 3D printed.
Oh, that is awesome.
So you want to tell the story behind it?
Yeah, so it's actually Tanner Huddleston, which is Trevor Huddleston's brother, who 3D printed this entire thing. It's really cool. Really? All these lights light up, so it looks really nice in the dark. It's a whole 3D printed thing. It's actually probably one of the coolest trophies I've ever seen. So props to Tanner for sure. He did a really good job with it.
Good job, Tanner. Yeah, that's awesome.
This is actually the water tank that's right across. It's right across from the track. It's like a pretty monumental thing for their city in Roseville. It's right across from the track, so it's really cool.
Oh, that is too cool.
So now it's time to take that hat off General Tire and put a Jan's Racing hat on the top.
That's why I got my hat on and not that one.
Yeah, or put the black leather hat on it.
No, I think we'll stick to the camo.
He likes
So,
the camo. Sal.
yeah, no, I know. Anyways, I'm not gonna let Jan live that down about those black leather hats. I have to see him wear it at least once. I want to see him sit on a motorcycle and wear it. But anyway, that's another time. But Robbie, it was a good win. It was good to see you get out there, and get your win, this season, and I'll tell you, it was really one heck of a good race to watch. And I'm looking forward to Madera. I think Madera is going to be another good race. Let's see what our car count looks like in Vegas, since the Xfinity and Cup race will be there. You guys race Friday. Xfinity will be Saturday and Cup will be on Sunday. So hopefully we get extra cars. But I think Madera is going to be a good. I think it's going to be another one like Roseville here. With the one groove. Hard to pass and all that. But I mean, you have enough experience out there. You and Kyle and Trevor, I mean, actually have the most experience out there.
Yeah, for sure. Trevor will be hard just because just like at Roseville, he had won that race last year. And not only does he have experience at the track, but he has the most experience out of all of us in the ARCA cars. So he'll be definitely hard to beat. And Kyle probably has some of the most laps and is one of the best at Madera that I've ever seen, for sure. He's won 2 different 10,000 win late model races there. And I can't even count how many late model races there in general. So I'm sure he'll be pretty dang good.
And
So
Robbie Kennealy has a victory, so he'll be pretty darn good too.
Oh yeah. The three you have.
Yeah, I have a 5,000 to win. 5,000 to win pro late race there, and then a few junior late wins as well. So hoping that it carries over.
And with that, Robbie, once again, I just want to say congratulations on your first win. I'm sure we're going to see many more, in the future. It's good to see, you do it, not only for, the team, but, especially what you and your family have gone through, in the past year. You guys have stayed together. You guys have raced together. Now you have the Jan's Racing family, as part of an extended family for you, which helps a lot too. Cause I know Jan is really 150%, both feet in. And I know he does a lot for you guys. He does a lot for the team. He does a lot for the sport. You know what? He's a great supporter of the sport, which is good because, with the way racing is on the West Coast, we need it. I mean, there's a lot going on, both coasts, and it's good to see, what Jan's doing, not only with the team, but what you and Joey and Kyle are also doing, at the lower levels and stuff like that. So, anyways, congrats again, and then we will see you at the track soon. I'm gonna hand it back over to Sharon.
Thank you.
Okay, Robbie. I know there's a lot of people that support you, and you've shouted out quite a few names already, but I want you to talk for just a minute about your mom, because I know she's a big supporter of you too. And we actually interviewed her. So I want to get your thoughts about your mom and the support that she's given you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's been a supporter of me since I was 5 years old and started this whole journey. She's the biggest supporter out of anybody, and the last year has probably been the hardest on her, but that hasn't changed what she's done, and if anything, she's become even more involved. So she's definitely probably the most person to thank, because without her sticking with me since I was 5 on this little dream has not been an easy thing for her.
Well, I'll tell you, she told us when we talked to her that one of the biggest regrets she had is that she missed the first race that you won.
Yeah, that's a funny story.
Yeah, she was telling us about that, and she goes, "I made a vow I'm never going to miss another race again if I can help it." So yeah, I know she's a big supporter of you. But who are the other people you want to give a shout out to before we go?
Yeah, there's so many different people, and I'm probably end up forgetting somebody, but everybody knows their thing. But I think to start, it's got to be Jan and Susan, and everything they've done for us. I mean, there's not too many people like Jan at all, and I only know of Jan himself that are like this. But of someone to believe in, like me and Colin, to just give us a ride like this. there's very, very few people on earth and, both coasts that believe in somebody enough to really do that and believe in us. So without Jan, it wouldn't be possible at all. So Susan as well, who's his assistant, she helps with, a ton of different things and helps Jan out a lot for sure. Then it starts with the race team itself. You got Brian Kaiser and Chris Greeny, the two crew chiefs who have worked really hard all year to make our cars fast. And you got our crew guys like, you got Keith, you got BC Kaiser, you got my spotter, Aiden Kaiser. Then you got John, Charlotte, you got Marco, who's the full-time employee at Jan's. He's the hardest working guy there. He's the one full-time employee who's, fixing up the cars or setting them up or doing whatever the day-to-day operations include. Prado's a really big help as well. My family, they're always there to help. Even guys like me and Kyle, we're both up there as much as we can, trying to help as much as we can and be involved as much as we possibly can, because we're both very thankful for getting this opportunity and being blessed by being a part of someone like Jan's Racing.
So before you go too, I know a lot of people will be looking to follow you, Robbie, on social media. Do you have a social media handle?
Yeah, it's pretty much just Robbie Kennealy on anything. It's Robbie Kennealy on Facebook, and then just Robbie Kennealy 1K on Instagram. Same thing, Robbie Kennealy on Twitter. So should be able to find me on anything from that. 2 N's and 1 L, right? Yeah, Kennealy.
Okay, awesome. Well, Robbie, it's been a pleasure talking to you after your first victory, and we hope it's not the last time, and that we get another opportunity down the road. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll look forward to talking to you again. And once again, just huge congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, thanks.
Here now, and good luck at Madera, the Bull Ring, and Phoenix.
Thank you.